Hello everyone, and welcome back to Cowboys and Cattle. In our last episode, Lou chased Ty after his desperate escape from the safe house. She caught him near an abandoned building where he'd stopped to catch his breath. When Ty was about to run again, Lou shouted the words that stopped him in his tracks. "I'm here to help with your missing memory." Lou pulled him behind a building to hide from potential threats. Ty demanded explanations, but Lou couldn't reveal FBI involvement or directly explain the memory erasure. Instead, Lou asked strategic questions. Why can't you remember anything before 6 months ago? Have you thought deeply about what happened then? Ty began questioning his accepted amnesia narrative, realizing he had no actual memory of the hospital or accident he'd been told about. Lou carefully planted doubts about his convenient life at Silver Creek Ranch. Ty admitted having dreams of a woman and child, but thought they were false memories. Lou revealed they're real people who love him. The episode ended with Tay agreeing to return to the safe house, ready to face painful truths about his identity, walking beside Lou back toward the people he'd thought were his kidnappers. If you've been hopeful about Ty's journey to recovery, please hit that like button and subscribe. Today's episode brings Ty back to face the FBI agents who extracted him. But now he has questions they can't easily answer. Why did they have to kidnap him instead of approaching him normally? Why the chloroform, the secrecy, the dramatic extraction? The FBI will struggle to explain their methods without revealing too much about their investigation. And Ty will find himself drawn to Lou in ways he doesn't understand. Her voice familiar, her face triggering something deep in his memory. This is episode 58, and Ty Borden is about to ask the question that Lou can't answer. Who are you to me? Elkridge Safe House. Inside the safe house, chaos reigned. FBI agents were arguing in raised voices, blame flying in every direction. Agent Stevens pointed accusingly at Agent Walsh and Agent Chen. "This is your fault. You extracted Ty on impulse with no proper planning, no backup protocols, no consideration for what would happen when he woke up confused and terrified. We extracted him because we had an unexpected opportunity. Would you rather we left him at Silver Creek Ranch where Nathan could relocate him at any moment? At least we acted. You wanted to sit around debating for weeks while Ty remained a council prisoner. Acting without planning is how operations fail. And look what happened. Ty ran the first chance he got. Now he's out there somewhere, probably flagging down vehicles, telling anyone who'll listen that federal agents kidnapped him." Agent Morrison stood near the window watching the tree line where Ty and Lou had disappeared. Her jaw clenched with barely contained fury at how everything had spiraled out of control. The other FBI agents continued their argument, voices overlapping in a cacophony of blame and defensiveness. If you hadn't suggested interrogating him like he was a suspect instead of a victim, maybe Ty wouldn't have panicked and run. Interrogation is standard procedure. We need to verify his story before treating him as benign. His story? He doesn't have a story. He has erased memories and trauma. There's nothing to interrogate. Unless the memory erasure is an act. Unless he's a council operative pretending. Enough. Agent Morrison's voice cut through the arguing like a knife. Every agent in the room went silent, turning to face her. Her expression showed cold fury barely held in check. "Stop, all of you. Stop talking right now." The room remained silent, except for heavy breathing from agents who'd been shouting moments before. Agent Morrison turned from the window to face her team. "Do you understand what just happened here? Do you comprehend the magnitude of this failure? We had Ty Borden in custody. We had him secured in a safe house. Our job was simple, Letters keep him calm, keep him safe, begin the process of helping him recover his memories. And instead, what did we do?" She looked around the room, making eye contact with each agent. We argued. We debated whether a traumatized civilian with erased memory was secretly a council operative. We discussed interrogation methods while he sat terrified in the next room. And because of our stupid, careless argument, because we were more focused on being right than doing our jobs, Ty escaped. He's out there now in Montana wilderness, with no idea where he is, probably convinced we're criminals who kidnapped him. Agent Stevens looked like he wanted to defend himself, but thought better of it under Agent Morrison's withering glare. If Ty makes it to a road and flags down a vehicle, if he tells someone that FBI agents drugged and kidnapped him, we will have a public relations nightmare. If he somehow finds his way back to Silver Creek Ranch, we will have lost our only witness and evidence of council memory erasure operations. And if Nathan's people find him before we do, Ty Borden will disappear permanently and we'll never see him again. The weight of those possibilities hung heavy in the room. Agent Morrison moved away from the window, pacing as she spoke. The council has unlimited resources. Nathan Price is one of their most effective operatives. Right now, Nathan is searching desperately for Ty, calling in every favor, mobilizing every asset. And we just gave Ty back to him by being too incompetent to keep a confused civilian calm and secured. Morrison, we're doing everything we can to locate him. We have the surveillance team tracking his likely direction. We've contacted local law enforcement. We're coordinating search efforts. It's not enough. It's never enough. With this operation, we're always one step behind, always reacting instead of controlling, always. A knock at the door interrupted Agent Morrison mid-sentence. Everyone froze, turning toward the sound. Agent Chen moved toward the door cautiously, her hand near her weapon. She looked through the peephole, and her expression shifted from caution to shock. It's Lou, and she's not alone. Agent Morrison crossed the room in 3 strides, pushing past Agent Chen to look through the peephole herself. She has Ty. Lou has Ty with her. The room erupted in whispers and movement. Agent Chen opened the door and Lou stepped inside, her hand gently on Ty's arm as if guiding him. T entered behind her, looking wary and exhausted but no longer panicked. Lou's face showed relief and determination. She'd done it. She'd caught Ty, convinced him to come back, brought him safely to the safe house, despite everything. Agent Morrison stared at Lou and Ty for a moment, clearly processing that the disaster she'd been describing moments ago had just been averted. Lou, you found him.
We need to talk, all of us. But carefully and calmly, no more arguments. No more debates about whether Ty is a threat. We need to help him understand what's happening in a way that doesn't terrify him further.
Ty stood just inside the doorway, his eyes moving from face to face, clearly trying to assess whether these people were safe. His body language showed he was ready to bolt again if things felt wrong.
I want explanations. Real explanations, not the crazy stories you were telling me before. Who are you people? Why did you kidnap me? What do you want from me?
Agent Stevens opened his mouth, probably to launch into another interrogation-focused response, but Agent Morrison held up a hand to stop him. Ty, I'm Agent Morrison with the FBI. These are my colleagues. We extracted you from Silver Creek Ranch because you were being held there against your will by a criminal organization. We're trying to help you recover your real identity and memories.
You keep saying that I was being held against my will. But I had a job there. A room. Friends. I wasn't locked up. I wasn't chained. I was free to come and go. How is that being held against my will?
It was a good question. One the FBI struggled to answer without revealing too much about memory erasure and psychological conditioning. Agent Walsh stepped forward, his tone more gentle than Agent Stevens's had been earlier. Ty, there are different kinds of prisons. Not all of them have bars and chains. Some prisons are built in your mind. He's making you believe things that aren't true, making you forget things that are true, controlling your reality so thoroughly that you don't realize you're not free.
That sounds like a metaphor. I'm asking for concrete facts. You drugged me. You took me from my workplace. You brought me to this location without my consent. Those are concrete actions that constitute kidnapping, regardless of your claimed justifications.
Lou could see the FBI agent struggling with how to respond. He was right. From his perspective, with no memory of his real life, their actions were indistinguishable from a kidnapping.
T, can I explain something?
Ty turned to Lou, and his expression softened slightly. He'd started to trust her during their conversation in the abandoned building. The trust was fragile, but it existed.
These people are federal agents. They've been investigating the organization that runs Silver Creek Ranch for months. They discovered that you were being held there with false identity and erased memories. When they saw an opportunity to extract you safely, when you drove into town alone, they took it because they might not get another chance.
But why couldn't they do it normally? Why not just approach me, show me their credentials, explain the situation, and ask me to come with them voluntarily?
The room went silent. It was the question everyone had been avoiding because the honest answer was complicated and made the FBI look bad. Agent Morrison finally spoke, her voice careful. Because Ty, if we'd approached you at Silver Creek Ranch and told you that you were a kidnapping victim with erased memory, you would have thought we were insane. You would have reported us to your supervisors, who are actually the criminals holding you. They would have relocated you immediately to a location we couldn't track. We would have lost you forever.
So you're saying you had to kidnap me to save me from kidnappers? Do you understand how insane that sounds?
Which is exactly why we should be interrogating him more thoroughly. His resistance to our explanations suggests
He's a normal person reacting normally to a traumatic situation. Agent Stevens, I swear if you say one more word about interrogation, I'm going to physically remove you from this room.
Agent Morrison looked like she wanted to object to Lou, threatening a federal agent. But she also looked like she agreed with Lou's sentiment. Stevens, go coordinate with the surveillance team. Make sure there are no council operatives in the area. Walsh, Chinch, you're with me. And Lou. Everyone else, give us space. The other FBI agents filed out of the room, though Agent Stevens looked extremely reluctant to leave. Once it was just Agent Morrison, Agent Walsh, Agent Shen, Lou, and Ty remaining in the living room, the atmosphere became less tense. Agent Morrison gestured to the couch. Ty, please sit down. We need to talk, and this conversation works better if everyone's comfortable. Ty hesitated, then sat on the edge of the couch, positioned where he could see the door. Lou sat beside him, and Ty visibly relaxed slightly with her nearby. Agent Morrison pulled a chair to face Ty, while Agent Walsh and Agent Shen stood near the kitchen, giving space but remaining present. I'm going to be as honest with you as I can be, within the limits of operational security. Can you accept that there are some things I can't tell you yet? Not because I'm trying to deceive you, but because revealing them could endanger ongoing investigations.
I can accept that in principle, but I reserve the right to judge whether your omissions are reasonable or just convenient excuses.
Fair enough. Here's what I can tell you. 5 years ago, a man named Ty Borden disappeared from his home in Hudson, Alberta. He had a wife and young daughter. He was a respected horse trainer. Everyone assumed he died because his truck was found abandoned and there was no trace of him. His family mourned him. Life moved on. Ty listened intently, his face showing no recognition of the story but clear interest. About 6 months ago, a man appeared at Silver Creek Ranch in Montana with no memory of his past. He called himself Noah Smith. He was talented with horses, seemed trustworthy, and was hired to work there. That man is you, Ty.
You're saying I'm this Ty Borden person? The one who disappeared 4 years ago?
We believe so, yes. And we believe that the reason you have no memory of your past is because the organization that captured you 5 years ago deliberately erased those memories and created the Noah Smith identity to control you. We even run DNA tests on you and the results match.
If what you're saying is true, where was I for all those years between disappearing and showing up at Silver Creek Ranch? What happened during that time?
Agent Morrison hesitated. This was where the story became complicated and potentially dangerous to reveal. That's one of the things we're still investigating. We believe you were held at various council facilities, undergoing the memory erasure process. It's not instantaneous. It takes time and repeated sessions to completely eliminate someone's memories and implant new ones. Ty absorbed this information, his expression showing he was trying to decide whether to believe it or dismiss it as elaborate fiction.
Let's say, hypothetically, that I believe you, that I'm really this Ty Borden person, and my memory was erased. Why? Why? Why would anyone go to that much trouble? What purpose does it serve to turn me into someone else?
It was another good question without a good answer. The FBI still didn't fully understand why the council had kept Ty alive and erased his memory rather than simply killing him. We're not entirely sure. We have theories, but no concrete proof. It's possible they kept you alive as leverage against someone. It's possible they plan to use you for something specific in the future. Or it's possible that kidnapping and memory erasure is just something this organization does regularly and you're one of many victims.
That's not very reassuring. We don't know why terrible things were done to you, but trust us, we're here to help. How am I supposed to trust that?
Lou spoke up, her voice gentle but firm.
Because Ty, what's your alternative? Go back to Silver Creek Ranch and pretend everything is normal? Keep living as Noah Smith even though you now know that identity might be false? Ignore everything you've learned today and hope it all works out?
Maybe that's exactly what I should do. Maybe Noah Smith isn't the worst identity to have. Maybe not knowing my past is better than discovering truths that might be painful or complicated.
But you'll always wonder. For the rest of your life, you'll have questions. You'll dream about that woman and child and wonder if they're real. You'll feel like something is missing and never know what it is. Is that really how you want to live?
Ty was quiet, clearly conflicted. Lou could see him wrestling with the desire to run back to the familiar life he understood versus the terrifying prospect of discovering who he really was.
So I have a family who thinks I'm dead, and you're keeping that secret from them. How is that helping anyone? How is that the moral choice?
Because telling them prematurely, before we can offer any hope of recovery, would be cruel. Imagine learning your supposedly dead husband is alive, but has no memory of you, doesn't recognize you, doesn't love you because he can't remember loving you. That's devastating. We're trying to spare them that pain until we can offer something more than just he's alive but he's not really the man you knew.
That's not your decision to make. That's their decision. They deserve to know the truth and decide for themselves whether they want to wait for me to recover or move on with their lives.
The outburst was emotional and raw. Lou could see Ty was reaching his breaking point. Too much information, too many impossible truths, too many questions without good answers.
Ty, please sit back down. I know this is overwhelming. I know you're angry and confused, but we're trying to do what's best for everyone, including you.
Turned to face Lou directly, his eyes intense.
Who are you, Lou? You keep talking like you have personal knowledge of this situation. Like you're emotionally invested beyond just being part of this FBI operation. Agent Morrison asked you questions like you have authority here. And when I look at you, when I hear your voice, something in my mind says I should know you, that you're important somehow.
Lou felt her heart rate spike. This was the question she'd been dreading. The question she couldn't answer without Agent Morrison's approval and without potentially overwhelming Ty with too much truth too fast.
So I'm asking directly, who are you? What's your relation to me?
Everyone in the room went silent, all eyes on Lou. Agent Morrison's expression showed she was curious how Lou would handle this. Agent Walsh and Agent Chen looked uncomfortable, knowing Lou was being put in an impossible position. Lou looked at Ty's face, so achingly familiar, so much like the man who'd married her sister and become part of their family, but also different, harder, more guarded. missing the warmth and openness that had defined Ty Borden. She wanted so badly to tell him, to say, "I'm your sister-in-law. I've known you for over a decade. Your family." But Agent Morrison had been clear. Too much information too fast could be psychologically damaging, could cause Ty to shut down or reject everything.
I'm someone who cares about you. Someone who's been working very hard to find you and help you. Someone who knew you before and wants to help you remember who you were.
That's not an answer. That's evasion. I asked who you are. What's your relationship to me?
His voice was rising, frustration and desperation mixing together. He stepped closer to Lou, his eyes searching her face for recognition that wouldn't come.
When you talk, I feel like I should know your voice. When I look at you, something in my mind says you're important, that you matter. But I can't remember why. And it's driving me insane because everyone keeps giving me half-truths and carefully worded explanations, but nobody will just tell me the simple truth.
T, I want to tell you. I want to tell you everything. But there are reasons we have to be careful.
Reasons. Always reasons. I'm tired of reasons. I'm tired of people protecting me from information about my own life. Just tell me who you are.
Lou looked at Agent Morrison desperately, silently begging for permission to answer. Agent Morrison's face showed conflict of flipped. She understood Ty's need to know, but also understood the risks of revealing too much. Before Agent Morrison could respond, Ty spoke again, his voice breaking with emotion.
Please, please, just tell me. I feel like I'm drowning in lies and half-truths and things people won't say. I need one solid piece of truth. One real answer. Who are you to me, Lou? What am I to you?
The desperation in his voice broke Lou's heart. This was Ty, the kind, gentle man who'd always been part of their family, reduced to begging strangers for basic information about his own identity. The episode ended on that moment of unbearable tension, Ty's face showing desperate need to know, his entire body tense with the question. Lou's face showing she wanted to tell him but couldn't without permission. Agent Morrison's expression calculating the risks and benefits of revelation. Agent Walsh and Agent Chen standing silent witness to an impossible situation, the question hanging in the air. Who are you to me? A question Lou couldn't answer without breaking protocols, without potentially traumatizing Ty further, without revealing things memory specialists should guide him through. But also a question Ty deserved to have answered, because it was his life, his identity, his family, and keeping secrets from him. Even protective secrets was another form of the control the council had exercised. Lou Fleming stood at the crossroads of honesty and protection. Tell Ty the truth and risk overwhelming him, or continue the careful management of information and risk him shutting down completely. Behind Ty's desperate question was a deeper cry. Am I worth knowing? Is my real identity worth all this pain and confusion? Do the people from my past really want me back, or would they rather remember me as I was than deal with who I am now? And Lou had to find an answer that was both honest and safe, had to give Ty truth without destroying him, had to honor his need to know while respecting the psychological complexities of memory recovery. The moment stretched between them. Tiz, waiting. Lou struggling. The truth trapped between them like a wall neither could cross, and in that silence everything that made Ty Borden who he was hung in the balance. Recovery or permanent loss. Truth or protective fiction. Family or continued exile. All of it, depending on how Lou answered one simple, impossible question. Who are you to me? That concludes today's episode. Lou successfully brought T back to the safe house. FBI agents had been arguing and panicking about the mission being leaked when Lou knocked with Ty beside her. Ty demanded explanations, and Agent Morrison tried to explain they'd extracted him from criminals at Silver Creek Ranch. Tay asked why they couldn't have done it normally without kidnapping him. The question everyone struggled to answer. Lou assured Ty they were trying to help him, but Ty kept questioning the methods and half-truths. Agent Morrison revealed Ty Jess, really Ty Borden, who disappeared 4 years ago, has a family who thinks he's dead. Ty became frustrated with evasions and half-answers. He turned to Lou, saying she feels familiar. Her voice triggers something. The episode ended with Ty's desperate question. Who are you? What's your relation to me? Lou unable to answer without permission. Ty begging for one solid piece of truth. Join us next time to see if Lou can tell Ty who she really is. If this episode broke your heart, please like and subscribe. Until next time, this is Cowboys and Cattle.